The art of execution is an invitation to an epic journey of your own life. It is a hero's journey. Why should you embark on it? First of all, we cannot be unborn. We are basically here. So the journey is a must. And if you are not a hero, let's say maybe a victim, maybe a passive somebody who has to go along with the demands of life, you still have to go through the journey we call life. Therefore, it is unavoidable that you must make the journey, and it makes all the sense to be the hero in the journey. As far as acquiring skills, which I'm offering, whether you have worked a day professionally or whether you have worked more than 30 years professionally, working is an unavoidable part of life. And I have accumulated principles and processes and knowledge and so on over the last 20 some years. And they are principle based, meaning you can validate them for yourselves. And it's like the gravity, it's repeatable, predictable. And these principles are applied to personal, interpersonal, managerial, and organizational levels. This is the first framework that can be wielded by an individual. McKinsey's 7S framework, which includes things like staff, style, strategy, structure, systems, shared values, and so on. Those management consulting organizational change frameworks have to be adopted by the CEO and the C-suite or high-level people with budget. As an individual, how can you become an organizational change agent or leader, even if you don't do anything with it? Understanding the art of execution framework principles and its 4 pillars will allow you to diagnose the problem, to have a pretty good understanding of the situation, whether you get to drive the bus or not, or whether you even have a chance to speak to the people who are making decisions, is really immaterial. But because your understanding will tell you what you can and cannot do, what is within your sphere, what is outside of your sphere of control or influence. The first pillar is called the leader's edge. The second pillar are the process ninja skills. The third pillar is duality skills. The fourth pillar is cohesive skills. My assertion is that these 4 pillars, when used holistically, will give anybody, an entry-level person as well as the CEO of a company, the knowledge and the insights and the tools to diagnose problems. Leader's Edge skills talks about you can see personal behavior, interpersonal relationships, team dynamics, project phases, product phases, the industry phase. Everything is in a continuous state of flux, and human beings have concepts which we superimpose upon the moving pieces. Those items which I listed just now are above the water, so to speak. So the bottom of the iceberg would be the principles of effectiveness, work processes, existential life skills, the skills about emotional intelligence, defining your personal boundaries, emotional resilience, and know how to work with your ego. And underneath that, we have the duality skills, an understanding of identity and reality and how human beings operate in that environment. What I have described to you is called the life glacier. It will give you a bird's eye view immediately of the situation, considering the different dimensions and the complexity of the situation. When you see something that's not working from afar, say, some kind of a project program, the NASA program or the Obamacare, anything that you pick. If you are not getting the results you want, you immediately know a few things. One, something is wrong with the chain of command. The foot doesn't do what the head, the brain wants it to do. You know the processes are broken because output equals input plus process equals output. You don't get what you want at the time that you want it, and the body cannot deliver what the brain is trying to get. So you immediately know that these things are broken. So the leader's edge skill looks at the results you currently have. You compare the results with the stakeholder expectations. You see a gap. You ask the question why. You look into the culture, and you see the culture is dysfunctional. All the 5 dysfunctions of the team are manifest: inattention to results, lack of commitment, avoidance of responsibility, lack of integrity, lack of vulnerability to share in a trusting relationship. And the question is, how come the culture is like this? Then you look at the systems and structures and work processes, management systems, decision-making systems, appraisal systems, training systems, onboarding systems, communication systems. These systems and the organizational structure, as well as the work processes, are the key components of any organization. It may be a family. If you destroy the production processes of any family, you will destroy the family, and so on. That's an overview of the Leader's Edge skills, and there are separate videos just for that. And Process Ninja skills, basically, process is life skill. How do I go to work tomorrow? How do I go to my daughter's school? How do I go see my parents? How do we build a house, build a boat, build a car, take a shower? Anything we do in life can be broken down into processes. Therefore, these are essential life skills to understand that every step in the process should be error-free and should add significant value to the end results. And Dr. Deming and company have been talking about this for decades with lots of material. There's a separate video on that as well. So the holistic Leader's Edge skills allows you to take a bird's eye view and get a sense of what's wrong. And Process Ninja skills allows you to pinpoint as to where something is going wrong in the communication process, decision-making process, and so on. Everything is easy. We can read books, we can understand principles, but the problem is to apply them when people disagree, when people inherently have different agendas, which is unavoidable. How do you deal with it cohesively rather than destructively? All of the martial arts, all of the self-defense tactics, all of those things are counterproductive in a family and corporate environment, because you cannot go up to somebody and apply a punch or a kick or take out some kind of a firearm. It doesn't work. Therefore, we must condition ourselves to harmonize with all energies, all positions, and let's just call that the cohesive skills. There's a separate video for that as well. And at the end of this whole transformation, personal transformation, is a prerequisite for interpersonal transformation, which is a prerequisite for the managerial transformation for the group, which is a prerequisite for the transformation of the organization. Confucius and company said, first we must cultivate our disposition and temper our bodies. Then we will straighten out our families. Then we will help the society. Then we heal the world. In that sequence. Duality skills talks about like fish discovers water last. And duality skills talks about the water. You don't have to be working in a company. You can be somebody in the 7th grade. You can be somebody who is a CEO for some major corporation for the last so many years. The principles here are applicable. Not that I know more than anybody else, but I have dedicated many years studying and understanding the principles, and not any one person has perfected all the skills of all the different phases of a person's professional life cycle, biological life cycle, and so on. Different phases and different stages bringing different implications. So when you are trying to steer an organization, it's very important to understand the current status of all the moving pieces and be able to move it towards the ideal, quote unquote, the ideal situation by using the 4 pillars in the art of execution. The art of execution is an all powerful, personalized framework that takes a person from complete dysfunction, traumatized, abused individual, and will walk through the duality, the dualistic nature of that person's experience, and to cohesively resolve trauma and so on, all the way up to somebody who is looking at the macro pieces of an organization. These are basically concepts, right? Whether I'm stuck at the individual level of dysfunction or we are looking at organizational dysfunction. So the point I'm trying to make is these principles are universal, are applicable to anybody of any age in any industry, whether you are a project manager, teacher, homemaker, whatever. These principles are very powerful tools. And just give you a quick example about organizational dysfunction. Imagine the car. You are a driving instructor. You show up. 2 of the wheels are flat, blown out. 2 other wheels are so low in pressure you are driving on the rims. The engine is leaking oil. 3 out of the 6 pistons don't work. The car is just in really bad shape. And now you are being evaluated on how fast the car can go or how the driver is behaving because you are the driving instructor. The situations can be very confusing as to why you are not a good driving instructor. And you might not be able to actually explain it because it's not quite clear to you, especially when you work in the corporate behemoth. So these are challenges are real and huge. So if you don't get along with your boss, with your teammates, with anybody, anything, while you are at work, the art of execution is for you. The promise is, as you understand and apply the principles, they will help you and they will work. And I'm here to support you. Talk to you soon. Bye.